All right, we're going to switch gears right now to breaking news out of Peru. Joran Van Der Sloot undergoing psychiatric test determined to be emotionally immature and not respectful of women. I want to bring in a special guest that we have with us, Dr. Buzz van Ornsteiner. He is with us. He is going to talk to us about Joran Van Der Sloot's mental health. And again, Dr. Buzz van Ornsteiner, I'm sorry, a forensic psychologist. And he's also the director of a mental health court diversion program in Brooklyn where he assesses the mentally ill clients. Now, Dr. Buzz, you've done these kinds of reports before, these psychological evaluations. What do you try to determine in them?
Well, a lot of things. We want to make sure, first and foremost, that the person has average intelligence. We don't want to assess them without knowing that they may have a cognitive impairment, they may have a learning disability, they may be mentally challenged. We also want to know that they're fully oriented to where they are. We want to know that they know the time, the day. They want to know where they are, that they're in jail. We want them to be aware of the consequences and where they are headed through court. They want to be totally oriented. We want to check then to make sure they don't have any delusions, or they don't have any major depression, or they aren't bipolar, which is a very common assessment. We want to make sure that they're emotionally stable, or if they're not emotionally stable, where those weaknesses are. We also want to examine if they have personality disorders. Very important in this case. This individual sounds like he has antisocial traits, sounds like he has the inability to get along with people, that he has the tendency and the desire to exploit others, that he has a predatory nature, that he doesn't handle conflict well, that he has immature coping skills. That's a big one that jumps out at me because it shows the person doesn't have good negotiation skills, never learned how to be a good negotiator, is really out to just win. If he's faced with conflict, if he's faced with someone who is he feels is out to get him or feels very threatening, he wants to destroy that person. He wants to annihilate that person.
So then, doctor, is this the profile, and I know we're just making this is an opinion here, is this the profile of someone that could be a killer, all the stuff that you just talked about?
Absolutely. You know, this is an individual who has a low regard for women, or a low sense of value for women, probably has a low sense of value for all people. He's out there to exploit society. He's out for his own gain. But when it comes to women, he is there to prey upon women. He is there to exploit women. He is there to satisfy his own lust, and then when he's sexually satisfied, to utilize them in some other exploitive manner, like prostitution or kidnapping. When they become a threat to him, however, then he is out to annihilate them, to get rid of them. He doesn't want to negotiate with them. He doesn't want them in his life. You know, the worst crimes, aside from homicide and rape, are truly crimes of the heart. And this is an individual who probably has become an expert at seducing women, at exploiting their nature to love and be loved, and then brings them in, and then the true nature of his intent comes out. And that's how we've come out with these homicidal rages, and then makes excuses for these homicidal rages because he loses impulse. He doesn't have good impulse control. He looks for blame in them. These people don't take accountability. They seek blame in others. They never look to themselves. That's immature coping skills.
Very interesting, Dr. Buzz. I don't have too much time, but I want to get a sense from you of where this kind of behavior comes from. Is it learned? Is it hereditary? How does this kind of behavior that you see in this report come to pass for someone like Joran Van Der Sloot?
You know, great question, and that's probably the #1 question I'm always asked by people and by parents whose child or son or adult that I'm working with. These are personality traits. These are ingrained in our personality. How do we have a personality disorder? How do we develop that way? Is it nature, or is it nurture, or is there something in our brain chemistry? Is there something in our own makeup where it starts with childhood? I look at it both ways. You can have the tendency to have a personality disorder. You have a tendency to not have the groundwork for empathy. But then somehow within the environment that is nurtured, or somehow in that environment that is not corrected, or limit settings have not been instrumented. This is a person that needed great parenting skills from the parents. They seem to have possibly diminished parenting skills, but I don't want to blame the parents. These things happen. They are part of our society. People with personality disorders need protection from themselves. Poor impulse controls, society needs protection from them also.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Buzz. Thank you as well.
Thank you.